Welcome to Thursday night YouTube stream with me. I'm Dr. J. Francis. I'm a U.S. immigration lawyer based in Chicago, but serving all 50 states. Uh, Now, the title of today's stream is combo topic. The first one, we're gonna briefly talk about parole in place in terms of its update, and we'll switch to different types of case that we're gonna talk today, which is marriage green card case. Now, as you know, that parole in place has been paused, despite some court updates and drama happen this month. Then the outcome or the status remain the same. For those of you who watch my previous or join live stream will know that the court started with the district court, Eastern District Court in Texas, and then in August there has been admin stay. Then the last month, this month, the Fifth Circuit Court intervened and stay or pause everything. So unfortunately, admin stay, which means the USCIS only allowed to accept and process, but not allowed to approve pending cases in place. I'm recording this live stream on September 26th. As of today, nothing has changed. Pause. USCIS not allowed to approve pending parole cases, but still you'll be able to apply, and USCIS will accept and then process. The next important hearing schedule as of today is October 10th, next month, with the Fifth Circuit Court. If you remember, Oscar and Natalie and other individuals and organization, they wanted to join the original lawsuit, and it was denied by Eastern District Court, and then it was appealed to next level. So unfortunately, October 10th, they're going to talk about whether these individuals and organizations will be allowed to join the lawsuit. It's not about whether injunction will be lifted or ended. So that's the status we have. Now, for those of you who apply for parole in place, keeping families together, parole in place prior to injunction, and then approve. We're talking about the cases, parole cases approved before August 26th. In fact, I have an exact time, 6:46 Eastern Standard Time, 6:46 Eastern Standard Time, that if your parole 131F was approved by the USCIS, then you're allowed to proceed to second case. I'm sure that many of you are working on, maybe perhaps already submitted marriage green card case. So I'm going to use today's live stream to shift our conversation into next stage. Whether you have a parole in place base or you enter with a visa and got married to U.S. citizen, so you don't need a parole in place, then we're going to talk about marriage green card case going forward, unless there is a real updates on keeping families together, parole in place. So for those of you who's going to watch this video later or just join, for remainder of the time today and going forward, we're going to talk about marriage green card case and other types of cases for YouTube live stream, which is scheduled for every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Time. So when I do social media and talking about marriage green card case, number one questions being asked all the time is how long it'll take, how long my green card case will take. So I'm going to talk about processing time. Now, there's many ways to check marriage green card case processing time. There is a website, USCIS processing time. If you type up on Google, it's going to show you. In fact, for example, If you are in Florida, you select the Florida location and it's going to show how long it takes. That's one way, right? Check USCIS processing time. The second one is that if you have a my USCIS account, then USCIS will give you sort of fluctuating processing time. Sometimes they will give you like your case will take 10 months, and then like a week later or month later, like it's going to take 3 months. Very confusing. I'm going to talk about these two ways to track your processing time. I mentioned the first one, website, USCIS processing time. The second one, my USCIS account. They're valuable resources, but I would not follow them because of this. Number one, when you check your USCIS processing time, as I mentioned, you need to type up your location. For example, you live in Texas, you type up Texas, and it's going to show that it's going to take up to 20 months. Is it real? Is it up to date? For some, that's the average time. So what do you mean? Those cases scheduled for interview. Number one, right? And then number two, many of them have some issues. Relationship not solid, don't have a strong relationship documents. USCIS became suspicious that you don't live together, or you have a pending asylum case. There's all sorts of issues the USCIS need time to review. So then the first one, as I mentioned, USCIS processing time doesn't really give you an accurate, up-to-date information on the real processing time, because usually talks about the case is scheduled for interview and then has many issues. That's why most locations will show you that it's going to take up to 20 months. But remember, since July of 2022, USCIS eliminated requirement of scheduling interviews for all marriage green card cases. They don't do it anymore. So if you have a good case and then look at Texas and how long it takes, and then wow, this is 20 months and discouraged, I will tell you this: do not be discouraged, because it's not your case. Most likely will not apply to you. The second one, you're tech savvy, you manage to type up your key code and then create a USCIS account. Perhaps you've been checking update every single day, and then it's confusing, right? It changes, like it's like roller coaster. It goes up, it goes down, and then they don't tell you why, and then you don't know what that means. Like, there will be updates 3 months later. Doesn't mean that they're going to schedule interview or approve your case. I mean, it's useful, but I wouldn't follow it. Because it's not accurate. It's not about personally giving you feedback or actual personalized processing time. That's not the case. So what's the best way to learn how long it takes? You watch my video, because I'm going to tell you real cases. For those of you who follow me will know that we process cases nationwide, but we process many cases in Illinois and Wisconsin. So when you watch my TikTok and then talk about processing time, many of you will tell me that, well, I live in California, I live in Texas, I live in Florida, I live in New York. Our cases will take longer than those cases in Wisconsin and Illinois. Which is partially true, only if they schedule interview for you. Because like I said, Illinois, Wisconsin, compared to other states that I mentioned, less people apply for green card. So less waiting, especially Wisconsin, just like they will schedule interview really fast. I'm going to talk about all this today. So do not assume that because you live in California, Texas, Florida, New York, your case will take longer than other places. Why? Because if there's no request for evidence, right? Like whether asking for birth certificates or relationship or anything, hey, you didn't submit all divorce decrees and all this. The request for evidence, or most common one, would be, insufficient or incorrectly done A64 affidavit of support. I'm going to talk about this next time. So if there's no request for evidence, and number two, if there's no interview, your case will be reviewed and approved by National Benefit Center. National Benefit Center. They're fast. They're fast. So if you like to know what's going on in terms of current processing time, circling back, USCIS processing time, you type up on Google, select National Benefit Center, not where you live, because that's more likely be your case. But once again, I'm not saying that your case, right, interview will be waived. I'm not saying that. There's a possibility. So what's the best way to avoid the request for evidence and interview? Work with experienced, attorneys. It doesn't need to be me, but to find the good ones. So let's talk about the current processing time. Now, many of you watch my TikTok videos and some YouTube videos. Between April and July of this year, I'm going to repeat one more time. April and July of this year, USCIS approved our cases really fast. What's the common elements of this fast track case processing and approval? Number one, repeating many times, no request for evidence. Number two, no interview. They're nationwide, not just Illinois, Wisconsin, by the way. So between April and July, when we submitted a case to USCIS, some of them were approved in 17 days, 41 days, 47 days. I mean, there are like exception to the rule. I'll be honest with you, right? Only one case approved in 17 days. Like, we submitted everything with medical exam, the receipt notices, biometrics, work permit, and approval. Can you believe it? All of them happen in 17 days. Perhaps once in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime. But 41 days, 47 days were common. But more likely, cases were approved within 2 and 3 months. Within 2 and 3 months. Very good. Very fast, right? But I will tell you this. If you file your case before April 2024, we're talking cases filed in 2023, early 2024, it's going to take more than 6 months. In fact, if you file your case in 2023, it's going to take quite some time, up to 1 year. I will tell you this. So we're talking toward the end of September. Toward the end of September. If you file your case September 2023 and waited 1 year for interview or approval, then you should file mandamus lawsuit. You sue the USCIS to compel to take an action. It can be approval, it can be interview or second interview or additional request for evidence, but USCIS will take an action if you do mandamus lawsuit. So once again, you ended up waiting more than 1 year after you filed, no action taken. We have seen some cases, no work permit for 1 year, more than 1 year. Like no EAD, no work permit for 1 year, more than 1 year. Not good. Not good. I mean, do you think the USCIS forget about your case? Possibility. It's not like they became suspicious and then, hey, we're gonna schedule, home site inspection. Not likely. Not likely. So why delay happens? Well, I'm not USCIS, but I think that they forgot about you, sadly. So what do? You wake them up. You sue them. You sue them. We're highly successful. I'm sure that other attorneys highly successful with this mandamus lawsuit. You sue them. So that's like story of 2023. Unfortunately, cases filed in 2023 it took longer. So when the USCIS announced July 2022 they're gonna eliminate interview for all cases, they pause case processing. They pause scheduling interview for quite some time, leading into 2023. So because of this pause and delay, cases filed in 2023 took almost 1 year, more than 1 year, many of them, sadly. Even cases filed in early 2024, between January and then April, it took more than 6 months. So we have many cases filed like right before increase of U.S. filing fee on this year, right? Cases that we filed April 15. Prior to that, many cases just scheduled for interview and approved this month. So it took quite some time. So now the question is, if you file your case in August of this year and September, how long will it take? I'll tell you this, at least our cases, let's talk about cases filed in August. We're sort of moving into 2 months, right? August and September, they're still waiting for approval. I mean, we have a work permits and all this, no issue, right? So this is why I tell in my videos, other videos, that is golden, once in a lifetime fast track between April and July is gone for now. It may come back. It may come back. So repeating one more time, if you file your case in August and September of this year, it's going to take more than 2 months. I think that it's going to take between 3 and 6 months to complete it, which is typical USCIS processing time. Now, you may wonder, election is coming up in November, right? And then if Trump becomes next president in January 21st of next year, will cases go fast? If you talk to some people, many believe that Trump will fix immigration problem, and they think the cases will go fast. Maybe. I will tell you this. When Trump became president first time, before COVID, cases went fast. But this is the disclaimer. Newly filed cases went faster. So remember, this is key point. During his first presidency, when he became first president, cases filed after his presidency approved really fast, 3 to 6 months. But the cases filed before his presidency took longer. That was his processing policy. Not only marriage, green card case, asylum as well. Those of you, maybe you have a pending asylum case. When Trump became president, newly filed cases after his presidency scheduled for interview 30 days later. 30 days later. But because of that, previously filed cases ended up waiting extra long. So do not assume that Trump will expedite and streamline case processing. I don't think that's the case. And then, when it comes to processing time discourse, conversation, is really depends on when you file, right? And then, changing USCIS policy. So that's like really key important point you need to be aware. And also, if you have a RFE and interview, your case will take longer. So be aware. Try to avoid getting requests for evidence because, as you know, if you get requests for evidence, USCIS will give you 87 days. Sometime you can get it easily. But think about birth certificate, right? You don't have it. Your parents not your home country. How would you get it? It's going to take some time. So it's going to take up to 87 days. And then, you're not going to, it's going to delay your case. How about the interview? We talked about this. If you're living California, Texas, Miami, in the New York, it's going to take more time. So what's the best way to avoid the request for evidence and then interview? Well, I mean, you need to check all the boxes, right? But for now, I will tell you this: try to prepare, develop, and submit strong relationship documents. It's all about strong relationship document. Number one, submit strong relationship documents. And number two, be honest when it comes to filling out the form. Honest, complete, and up to date, right? And then you need to be complete, honest, and then up to date. It's absolutely important. Now, today we switched the conversation from parole in place to marriage green card case. I'm going to talk about marriage green card case more in detail next Thursday. I'm going to wrap up today's session. So thank you so much for watching this YouTube live. I may consolidate live for all different platform: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm working on it. I will keep you posted. But more than anything, thank you so much for watching this video, and then have a good rest of the day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.